is concentrated now right on this, yeah, more in terms of AI and all those kind of things. Like
True, ma'am.
we are also diversifying quite a lot. Like we are getting into nano, then we are getting into a biological side. We are getting into neuro also,
Okay.
and we are also getting into AI and all these things. Yeah, it will take time because we are still a nascent institution. Just 5 years is over.
Yes,
Many
the first
people
batch
take,
should be out.
yeah, many people take about 10 years to actually stabilize themselves.
Yes.
Here we have really grown in 5 years itself so much. And my that's all credit to my faculty, madam. I do nothing actually.
Yeah.
I sit here, I
No,
tell
it's a
them
whole
do that,
team.
do this.
And we need the right leaders also. So it should be again all the teamwork.
So many times, like I'll be just thinking, I'm just sitting here telling them, do this, do that, do that. Okay, and I'm just giving them the directions. And in fact, it's my faculty ultimately who is doing everything. We got even the AICT, IST funding and all that. But now there were some patents. Yesterday, day before yesterday, we received call from MSME.
Okay.
Yes, to start our business incubation in full swing. So that, we are getting into a lot of areas. And we are also having this IIC, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
that is also another area. Still many have to join. Soumya, Madam Ji? Soumya? Soumya?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please can you ask everyone to join fast so that we
Okay.
can start?
Okay, ma'am. I think we'll not wait anymore. Everyone, good morning, ma'am. Everyone to another event organized by our team of IIC Institutions Innovation Council at Nitte School of Architecture, Planning and Design. I am Soumya, the IIC coordinator. As you all know by now, it's a platform that encourages and systematically fosters the ecosystem of innovation, entrepreneurship, IPR, research, and development related activities. So here we are in this forum once again, and I welcome everyone. I'm really excited to announce the topic of today's session, the joy of writing a research proposal. We have with us an eminent personality, Dr. Kavita Sudha. We welcome you, ma'am. I also welcome our beloved director and founder principal, Dr. Chandan Rekha Jetty, to this event. We've been doing a lot of IIC activities, and she has been a driving force that has led us to where we are today. I now welcome our HOD, Dr. Gayatri ma'am, to introduce the speaker and introduce the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Good morning, one and all. Thank you, Kavita, first for accepting our invite.
Thank you, Gayatri.
So, there's lots to tell about her, but yeah, to starting with today's topic, So what has research to do with startups and innovation? Many of you might have this question, right? So everybody agrees with me, I guess, like research is important even for architects and planners. And where does all this start from, right? So when we talk of research, it's more about invention. And when we talk of this and commercializing this whole idea, which is where we are going to the innovation part of it, right? So that's where we are connecting these two, the research and the startup, through this bridge. So just a small story that kind of inspired me, like, way back in 1879, when Thomas Alva Edison has, invented the bulb. He didn't stop there. He had to create the entire grid, right? So, and, he took 3 years to sell the first 40 bulbs. But to kind of get this research idea into the market, he had to construct an entire DC grid. So that's where, the whole connect starts from. Okay, so this is a very interesting topic, and Kavita has written a lot of proposals and she got a lot of funding from government. So there's an art in writing this. So we would like her to talk about that and explain us how we can, inculcate that in us to communicate our idea, even if it's starting from a research idea, and how we pitch that idea to investors or the funders to get funding. That's where the whole crux is. So welcome, Kavita.
Yeah.
A few words about you.
Yeah.
She is a PhD scholar in computer science and engineering, and she has 19 years of teaching experience, and she taught with our sister concern for quite some time. I think 15 years, I guess, right?
Yes, 15 years I was with Nitin Meenakshi.
And now she's working with BMS College of Engineering. And very important thing is she recently got a funding from VGST. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Over to you, Kavita.
Yeah, I shall present my screen. Just let me know.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I can start off.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So my topic for today I've chosen is the joy of writing research proposal. So I'm going to take you through the my own failure stories, yeah, which is my the most blessing in disguise, which has helped me to write and what I am today. And later I'll tell you also my success story on a few things which has happened through the events. Today's agenda would be to see why research writing proposal is important. What should be our focus, as teachers or as students, any one of us, where should our focus be? And where is this idea generating from? How do I go about? Is it that the apple falls from my head and then I get an idea there, right? So let's see how we can probably generate this idea. And when is the right time to write? Yeah. So I'm going to take this topic with my own failure and success stories. And let's see how do I tell you and convey that, writing is actually joy to write at the end of it. Yeah. And how do I go about this? Yeah, it's very, very important. So I'm going to cite something from Bhagavad Gita, our own script, which tells a lot more on, how should I actually go about. A little philosophical though, but it is true in every aspect of ours. Then finally, let's see how you can sum it up on what I have actually thought of for today. Yeah, good going. Yeah, so we can start there. So let's see this one nice painting here. Yeah, anybody recognizes this painting? Anyone? Anyone knows this person over here? It's a very famous painting, but long back. It is, 1776. Yeah, that's a way long back, right? So that is George Washington there. Yeah, he was trying to cross the Delaware, and it's a very famous painting. And they painted this during this American Revolutionary War. John Washington was very different. Yeah, as you see in the painting also. You see, can anyone tell from this painting what kind of feeling you get by seeing each of the character over here in this boat? Anybody? I'm a teacher, please note. So if you don't answer, you know what I do? See now what I do. Yuvraj. Yeah, Yuvraj is there. Can you unmute and tell me what you see in that painting, Yuvraj? Anything comes to your mind about, how their, personal view is on what they're seeing here? Each one of them, what kind of job they are trying to do? Anybody would like to answer that? Anyone?
Ma'am, probably sailing through hardship.
Very good. Very nice. That's really nice. Sailing through hardship. Nice.
And everybody is looking at a particular direction, so they have a destination that they want to reach.
Yeah, very nice. They're looking forward for some destination there, right? And are everybody trying to do same kind of job there, or you see some kind of different jobs done together in this boat?
Yeah, they're working as a team.
I can't hear, but somebody's trying to speak though.
They're working as a team.
Yeah, they're working as a team. Very nice. Yeah, very nice. So they're looking for a direction and they all have put their effort, right? But everybody are doing a different kind of job. See, George Washington is not bothered of, where the boat is going, but he's just looking at his destination, thinking what he should do there, right? So he's the leader there, right? And you see behind him a person here, and he's trying to see whether everybody else is trying to do their job properly. Yeah, whether they're rowing the boat so that George Washington does not get distracted with what he's doing. And they're working people here, very, very important people for us. Like, for all our projects, we have research assistants, we have students there. So the worker class is very important. So like this war which George Washington leads to, even our research proposal also, we need to hold these three characters within us. We need to be workers sometime, we need to be managers sometime, and most importantly, leaders. We need the vision on what is that we are writing. Where are we going to head towards? Yeah, and based on the situation, we need to keep changing the role because every role is important. Yeah, without the workers, George Washington would not have reached his destination. Without the managers, the workers wouldn't have done their job properly. You agree with me? Right? Yeah,
Yes.
Isn't it an interesting painting there which tells why writing research proposal is important? So all of us have a target, and then our target is to lead to some good education system. It's not that we just simply directly teach from the textbook and then our students learn. So more importantly, we need to see that what is that you can do over here in my own country. What is that I can do? So for all this, we as a team should start writing research proposals. So somewhere we should start. Okay. So what should be our focus on while you write this research proposal? Can anyone tell what should be the focus on? When you write a research proposal, where should our focus be so that we can write a research proposal?
Understanding the problem.
Understanding the problem. So where will you get this problem from?
By being sensitive, it is around us, in the surrounding.
Very good. So society
observe
plays
that.
a very important role.
Important
Right?
role.
Very nice. Swami Vivekananda said, take up one idea. You'll get many things. In the society, you will see 100 different problems, right? Make that one idea your life. Dream of it. Think of it. Live on that idea. Yeah. When you do this on a sustainably long time, yeah, be it anywhere in your personal life, in your professional life, wherever you are, this thing is definitely going to work for you. Yeah, we all do. As mothers, we do that. We take up one idea, looking after our children well, right? And that's one idea we make up for our life. We dream about it. Yeah, we think of it and we live on it, right? Like that, even the research proposal should be. You should not see, what will be the end result. The end result is very clear for a mother, that my daughter or son should be good. Same thing, like it's like your own child, the research proposal. You should live with that. Yeah. And as Madam rightly said, you should see, is my work helpful to society in large? Otherwise, your research proposal, getting it sanctioned is going to be tough there. So, you have to see not just, Bangalore, not just our street, Malleshwaram, yeah, Rajajinagar, that's not going to work out. So you have to see society at large and really whether it's going to be helpful. And will this benefit my department, my institution? That also you should keep in mind. Yeah, anybody would like to say? Yeah, I think somebody is unmuted. Yeah, can you mute yourself, please? Can I expand the work further? If your goal is that, you just do your project proposal and that's the end of it, that's of no use. You should see how somebody takes it forward. It's not that you get a research grant and 2 years you're done with that. Yeah, you should always see the expansion of it. Does my work lead to collaboration? Yeah, collaboration is very important. As your Director ma'am also rightly said, it's not just that only architecture and planning is. We are just all merging up there and trying to see how well we can collaborate and take focus forward on, right? So this should be our main focus when you write a research proposal. Also remember, when we all do this, we actually focus on the other things. Yeah. So what is that you should not focus on? That's very important. Yeah. See, as you see in this diagram, you should not see for any shortcut. The very first time when I got my research proposal, later which I share with you, it took me 2 years. The very first one. Yeah. And after that, I've just got it now. But then don't take any shortcut, because the shortcut is where you don't learn. You don't see a sustainability of what you're doing. Yeah. So as you go through it, always remember that, am I going to become famous? Is that when you write a project proposal? Never. This should not be in your mind. How much money do I get? Money should not at all be a factor. How much recognition or awards will I get? Yeah. Will it take too much of my personal space? All this question should not be with you. When you get your proposal, all this, if it is, it will come on its own. Yeah. But personal space is what you should take care of. Definitely, if you get something, you should, let go of something else. But you should be smart enough to manage on how things can go on. So one is getting the fund, one is the execution part, and definitely your time is involved in whatever it is. Yeah. So don't think about, how famous I will become, whether I'll get any recognition about it, whether will I get money from this. Yeah. And this should not at all be your focus. Just work, the joy of writing it. Just for the joy you should write, and things will work out. Of course, you should remember that whatever is that your focus, it should help people at large. Yeah. So that's where we are. So what do you think would be the essential ingredients for it? Yeah. So when I go about writing, yeah, what do you think is, and one important thing, yeah, you should definitely have in mind when you write a research proposal? Anyone can say? When you write a research proposal, yeah, what is one, there are 3 essential ingredients is what you will see at the end of this slide. But what is that one thing is one of the ingredient which goes when you write a research proposal? When will you write a research proposal? Only if you have when will you write a research proposal? Anyone?
Ma'am, a research.
When you have identified a problem.
Yeah, identify a problem. That means some issue should be there, right?
Should be there, yeah.
Yeah, so without the issue, there's no way you'll write a research. Right? So what problem does your research address? That issue should definitely be there. Right? Yeah. Next, what else do you think? So once you have, let's say you have identified the issue and you have done a good survey on, yes, this issue is very important to be addressed. Next, what do you think is the next essential ingredient?
To search for somebody has worked on it before or not worked on it, or what is the gap between that?
Yeah, that gap and all you would have identified in this issue itself. Okay. This gap identification, all this you would have done. So you know what is the problem and you know that you're supposed to work on this. Yeah. So next, what do you think is an essential ingredient? Like now you're making a tea. You got the water, you got the tea patta, you got the sugar. Yeah. Next, what is that you require? You need somebody to put it on, right? You need a design, you need a vessel. So like that in the research proposal, what is the next ingredient? When you, now you know the issue, like how I have identified, I need to,
Surveying,
yeah, you will do the
market
survey.
study and stuff, surveying.
Market study, very nice. So that means you need to come up with the research
Research
design.
design.
Yeah. So how will the research achieve, you know, the research, what you actually want to achieve? How will you achieve the objectives which you have mentioned? Yeah. So you need to come up with a design. So design is very, very important, essential ingredient. Yeah. And the last one, and the last ingredient, none of this we would have done in case, you know, at least now all of us are forced to write, because at least for the next increment something happens and we get away with it, right? But it is not true. You should not write a research proposal, at least for your increments. Okay, you should write to do something for the society. Let it not come through, it's okay. Yeah, take it. It takes another round to write another research proposal. But definitely, what is the benefit is the next very, very important ingredient. Yeah, what will this research contribute? Yeah, as I said, the research should not stop after you know what you've done. You need to join many more people into it. You need to inculcate that culture in your department itself. You need people who would appreciate what is done, and you need a flow of people. So benefit is very, very important. So these are the three most essential ingredients when you actually write your research proposal. Okay. Now research proposals make you what, you know, that makes very important to us. So what is that it you can make out of this? So one is that outline step in your research proposal. So you tell the step-by-step procedure on how do you go about writing it, how will you achieve it, who is going to design it, what is that specific parameter you're going to work on. You can't find solution for every problem, right? Take in your home only. At home itself, there's so many problems, but we can't find solution for everything. Whatever is capable and limited with our capacity, we should go with that. Yeah, it doesn't mean that you don't become ambitious. You should not become over ambitious there. So you should know that this can be done and this is achievable. That gives you the confidence that your proposal will go further ahead. Yeah. Then provide yourself with intellect context. Yeah. So whatever you're working on, it requires a thorough study. As somebody was telling, a literature survey is a must. You should know actually what you're not the only one who's thinking on the corner that, I need to write a research proposal. When you write a research proposal, there'll be thousands of like you who would have thought of the same idea. It's just that the way they have written, the way they've conveyed would have been different from what you have done. Yeah. And that's how it clicks and yours will not click. So you should have got the complete intellectual context of what you're actually writing. Yeah, you need to be creative here. Yeah, that's where it will actually have the hint. Yeah, I will tell you my failure on the creativity when I go through some of the slides further there. Yeah, and you should be able to justify your research. If somebody asks you, yeah, how would you justify, whatever proposal is being sanctioned to you or what's going to happen, you should have a proper justification of it. Without your justification, people will not give because it is somebody's money, right? When people come and ask to do something for the society, that time only we don't give our own money. Like, why should I give there? Yeah. Then this government is giving for what reason? They don't even know you who you are, right? So you should have justified that your research proposal statement is actually a good one and going to really help society at large. You should think through your experiment. So you should have done a good groundwork. You should have done, put some mud to your hand where you know what's going to happen if you do this way. Yeah. So think through your experiments, and that is the best way you can actually go ahead with it. Yeah. Anticipate potential problems. So as you evolve through the problem statement, you know where to cut, how do you narrow down your research statements. Yeah. And you work on that one identified problem. So that can happen if you had a good experimental hands-on and you have thought through that particular research proposal. And the last one, anticipate a realistic timetable. As I said, don't be over ambitious. Yeah, initially, yes, you need to think beyond your comfort zone. Most of us don't go beyond our comfort zone. It takes too much of time. I cannot travel that far, talk to people. I'm not a person who is interactive. All this thing, you should learn. Everybody should be like that, not just one. Yeah, I may not be a good communicator. If not, I should see how I can improve on that. Yeah, so there are some personal characteristic which we all learn through years. It'll not just come just like that in 1 day, 2 days, a week. It may take years also, but have the patience that it's going to happen one fine day, and never give up on that. And that is where you all should put a realistic timetable. So the timetable can be with respect to how you write your research proposal, how do you go about, who are going to be your helping hands, what is that you have to learn, how is that you're going to ensure that the government money is not misused. You need to follow ethics while you execute your project, and you should be a good individual. This will definitely lead to you the click of the research proposal. No doubt, 100% guaranteed. It's only that you should get connected to the right people. Okay. So that's where your research proposals, make you to what you have to be. So with all this said, then where do I get this idea from? Yeah, this idea should be generated from somewhere, no? Now, what do you think the idea will come from where? Let's take it from you, and then I will show you what I have. Where did I get my idea from is on the slide. That's all, okay? So let's see, where do you get this idea from of writing your research proposal? What will you do? Anyone? Where will you get this idea of writing a proposal? This is a good idea. I should write on this.
When we see the people around, we see them facing
The funder's objective.
from there we see like our area of interest, what can we give back to the society. So we take a problem from maybe generate an idea.
So you talk to people?
Yeah, we talk and we see.
Yeah, you talk and see. Very nice. You talk and see. Very good. Yeah. Anything else?
Ma'am, an idea can occur when you yourself, you're facing an issue. So you'll
Very nice.
solve that.
Yes, yeah, you face an issue. Yeah, but then you have to evaluate. Am I the only one? Because my research proposal, remember what I told you? What was the golden rule? It should help society in large.
Yes.
Okay, I will tell you about my individual thing, what I had put. Like, good that you told that the idea can come from yourself. One of my idea which failed, my first, some of the other proposal failed because it was an idea generated myself. I'll share that story with you. Okay, yeah. So talk to people, you will get to know. Very nice. So you build network. Anything else? If you don't know something, if you're learning a new topic, where will you learn it from? You heard about something new, okay, and you don't know about it. You want to know more about it. Where will you do? What will you do? How will you read more about it?
Reading.
Yeah, reading. Google. Google is the best place.
Google.
Yeah, Google. You don't forget, Google is the best place. Trust me. I owe half my credits to Google because everything I get there, right? So new ideas, what people are doing, the survey is a must. Okay, so let's see what I put up. So talk to people, build your network. Yeah, communicate. That's where, it's not just your kind of domain. Your expertise is important, but then what are the other fields? What are people doing? You may not be expert in all fields. So you need the right kind of individuals in your team so that your project execution happens. And you do a complete survey on what happens there. One of this complete survey, I add 2 more things because this is what had helped me. You need to visit and feel the problem space. Feeling the problem is very important when you write a proposal, because when you feel somebody's problem, you write from your heart. Yeah. And that's where your project proposal will click. Yeah. So always remember to visit and feel. That's where you complete the survey. Google will do half the job for you, telling you, okay, this many percentage of people are struggling with this much of a problem. Everything is done. Yeah. But have you seen that? Have you really felt for that particular problem, that pain of what people are going through? Then your idea gets generated automatically. Okay. And the next little shortcut to all of what, for an idea generation is you go through already existing sanctioned proposals. So this I have done. All these 4 things I have done. Okay. And that helps you how people have written. Some of it you will be taken back. Okay. Don't be surprised. You're like, how did this project proposal get sanctioned? Don't be surprised. But then probably they would have presented it well. They might not have written well, but they would have presented it well. So sanctioned proposals will give you an idea. Oh, this is how I'm supposed to think on when I write my objective. When I write my, how do I go about execution? What are my outcomes? Yeah, how do I do my market survey? All this will be actually the helping force for you on where you can actually generate a idea from. Okay, so that's it for the theoretical part. So now it's story time. Okay, so now it's an online story because we are doing it online, right? So it's my own story. I'll take you through 4 stories. Okay. 2 of my failure stories, I'll start with them, and then 2 of my success stories. I've done many more, but then I thought for today, these 4 stories is good enough. Okay, and let's see what learning we can do. So let's see my first story of my failure. My first story is this. I had written a proposal to VDST itself in 2018 under RGS scheme. Okay, it's a research grant scheme there. And I had written something on an automated sorting technique to segregate the processed arecanut. Do you know what is an arecanut? Anyone who knows Kannada can tell what is arecanut in Kannada.
Adke.
Very good. So many people have life in this meeting. Very nice. I was thrilled. Why I was thrilled? Let me tell you the story again. This was my self, thought idea. We have a large place in my village, and most of my relatives are farmers. And I saw my sister-in-law who does this segregation manually. She would sit all through the night, segregating the quality 1, adike, quality 2, and quality 3. I was like, oh my God, it is such a tedious job. Why would somebody, and I asked her, does everybody in this village do the same way? And she's like, yes, this is the best way. And she hires people, and you have to give them 500 rupees per day for segregating into these 3 kind of arecanuts. Okay, so I was like, wow, I got an idea here. So what I did, I thought I will join with mechanical department, make one trolley-like thing where each of the arecanut will come one by one. And I do an image processing, because I'm a computer science student, no, I would not think beyond an image processing topic there, where that, that image processing output will be telling which category does it belong to, category 1, 2, or 3. If it is 1, it will be putting in basket 1. If it is 2, it will put in another basket. And if it is 3, it will put in a 3rd basket. And I was very thrilled. I was like 100% sure that this project is going to be mine. Okay. And then I wrote, I'm going to come up with a smart solution for segregating it based on image processing technique. I used all hi-fi words, spoke to people who are working in image processing, spoke to somebody even in the, Arcanet Research Center in Puttur. Okay. And I said, I'm going to find a way to detect the cracks because image processing is going to do, and I'm going to save a lot of time. And I was very confident it's going to come. But then before that came, it anyway got rejected. And then later I see, just in when I wrote, it was November 2018. Just in Jan 2018, the Mangalore Institute of Agriculture had already come up with this device. And see that what you see as a picture here above, I had forgotten to do a good market research there. And this particular thing was already there. Of course, my device was a little different, but this was same as that. From the top, the arecanuts would have been dropped, and then on this trolley, the rails, what you see here, the arecanut would come and fall into 3 different baskets. So my idea was a failure, but I didn't give up. I didn't give up. So I came up with the next one. I think this time don't want arecanut. I'll do something with yoga there. So we had something called as Science and Technology for Yoga and Meditation. And that was Satyam. In 2019, I wrote this. Okay. So this was all about yoga. I was like, okay, fine. I practice yoga. And then I thought, I'm quite good at it. So I thought, let's see what we can do. So we came up with a topic like this: mindfulness, yoga, and meditation for university grads to improve the attention span in the classroom, a pilot study. Yoga had actually changed my the way I was living, because that gave me a lot of focus, and I felt the change within me. So, and I had seen a lot of people who were doing with me that it has definitely helped them to be mindful and more peaceful. Yeah. At that time when I wrote this, I was still doing the instructor's course. Yeah. I parallelly, when I do multiple jobs there, so that, I get hit with the project. When we wrote this, we were happy that it went through the first round. I was so thrilled. First round, we got shortlisted. I like, wow, we have written the right project. But then the PI and the co-PI, we were both of the engineering stream. We only wrote the review committee people to be of the yoga and the meditation team. But we should have put somebody in, the place of who were actually probably working in probably S. Vyasa university by itself, which is on yoga, right? So, but then we got selected there in the first round. We wrote for an amount of 38 lakhs. It was a good exercise, because we saw that a lot of things were happening in terms of how yoga can actually help students at large. So we thought my classroom teaching should change and ensure that my students' attention span is going to be sustained for a long time in the class. So with that idea in the mind, we wrote this. We had done a good survey on this though, and people were appreciating. We took inputs from S. Vyasa for sure. Yeah, and that's how they suggested that you can go ahead with this, because anyway, it was a pilot study. And but then the failure over here was that we did not have a single publication on yoga and meditation. Please note, when you write a research proposal, anytime, you should have done some prior work behind. You should have got publication in that. You should have yourself been a trainer, like how I did. Now probably I would have got it, because I've done my instruction course. I've done various other forms of yoga. So I know, I can understand what this topic is all about. Okay. So this was my second latest failure. Okay. But then it was a good jump into my, from my Arcanet to yoga. Okay. My success stories, again, totally different topics. Okay. But before that, when do you think is the right time to write the proposal? Anyone can tell? When is the right time to write a proposal? You don't want to, nobody wants to write? No, at the end of this talk, I want each one of you to write a proposal and submit to your, whoever it is concerned, and get it scrutinized.
So I would write when there is a call for it.
No, you will write when the call for it? Okay, very good. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else? When the DST calls for, when AICT calls for, okay, of course, these are the ones who give for science and technology, okay? When VGST calls for only, then you will write? Nice, huh? You will get ideas when they write, when they tell us right now.
Mom, I'm not sure about research papers, but like as a writer, I don't think there's any right time to write. You just write.
Perfect. That's the answer. It is now. That's all. Just write it down. Yeah. So you get an idea, write it somewhere. Yeah. Discuss with like-minded people who would support you. My whole strength is not me. It is my team. The whole credit of what I am today is a whole lot of team there. Anytime I go with you don't think any idea is stupid. All ideas are good. Yeah. But then there is no right time. You have to write it now. If you wait when DST call and you will write, it's not going to happen. Yeah. I will tell you with the success story, you will understand this concept. Okay. But then the right time to write is just now. With that, the other parameters you should take for is preparedness is required. So it's not going to just come when they say, right, you will be prepared. No way, because you have to do the background work, no? Otherwise, it's going to be like my Arcanet story for all of you. Then you have to do manually again. Yeah, so background work is required. So it will take some time. Prototyping, you can't copy something which is already existing. It should have been unique, something very different, something very cheap, cost effective. You should build that network. You should, if you are not good in that field, if it is not your field, you should build that network of people who are expert in that field. No? So consultancy you have to take from them, and then willingness to work hard. There is no compromise on this. Yeah, anywhere, any field, right? As a student, at home, as you grow, every time that willingness to work hard is very, very essential. So please remember, the right time is now. Okay, so with this said, we will see some of the success story of mine. Okay, my first success story, very close to my heart, is when I wrote in Nitya Meenakshi. Okay, and this was a DST project worth 47 lakhs under Niti Aayog scheme, and this was especially for women. I was like very, happy that, oh my God, we are going to do this. Just check what happened. We did it for something called as prenatal women, so very close to my heart. It was like, the in the rural area, the prenatal care for women is really, really bad. Very poor it was way back in 2015, okay? And check when we started and when it got sanctioned. We started the work that we should write for it in 2015. It took 2 full years for that amount to be sanctioned for us. Yeah, but it was a lovely journey. I have changed so much. Lot of learning has happened. Lot of things have happened through this. The title of the project was like this: Healthcare Solution for Prenatal and Nursing Women in Rural Areas. I had a big team here, 5 here, and I will tell you slowly on who were there and what we did. Now, why it took 2 years and what has happened through it, we will see. I will just share with you one comment which we got from Niti Aayog, and I've kept it as it is, what they commented on, what we were supposed to do, and how did we answer it. Okay, so it's going to be a little boring for the next 2-3 minutes, but then you should know why I'm sharing this with you is when you write a proposal on any topic. See, neither I'm a doctor, yeah, neither I was a yoga expert, neither I was a farmer, but then I never gave up any of the area. The next area I'm going to choose, which I'm currently doing, is on brain signal processing. Okay, so we'll see what we did there also. But then before we go there, see what is the comments they gave us and how was our response. How should your response be to the comments they ask us? So this was a question asked. Objectives do not state how the benefit of the designed application will be assessed in improving the pregnancy outcomes. Which indicator will be measured? Preterm, full-term birth, birth weight of infant or low birth weight, miscarriage, stillbirths. We never thought of it, until they raised this question. We didn't even know how would we assess that, pregnancy outcome is going to actually improve. Will the growth of infants be monitored to assess the benefit to nursing mothers? Because we said no, healthcare solution to nursing mothers. We smartly came up with an app. We said, it's going to check the BP and sugar, and directly it will link to my public health center. And we said big things there. But then we never thought of it. Yeah. So for this particular one question, which I'm sharing with you, we contacted many, gynecologists in Bangalore who are doctors are very sweet and kind. Yeah. At least, people we met were very generous and helped us in telling how actually we go about this, and see how nicely they helped us in framing it. So they said, write this as 2 objectives. The primary objective is to reduce the maternal and child mortality and morbidity. The second objective is to reduce frequency and prevalence of low birth weight. So with this, we had to expand how would I go about achieving my primary objective and secondary objective. So by considering the primary objective, we said these are the following parameters. The weight more than 2,500 grams, that is 2.5 kgs is, minimum. That's the category we are looking at. It should be a full-term baby. Yeah, and then no complication is there. So that reduces all this, whatever they had asked us. So this gives them more clarity. right? And as far as secondary objective, we'll be focusing on this low birth weight of the child, but according to the World Health Organization, if the child is less than 2.5 kgs, it will be considered as an LBW weight. But then what are the risk factors involved? These are the risk factors which we will take care. So we said maternal malnutrition, maternal illiteracy, even illiteracy, people will think nothing is going to happen in rural area, like how we get supplements here. In rural, people think that nothing is going to happen. The usual diet they will follow. Socioeconomic status, that also matters. Maternal occupation, if they're doing heavy manual labor work, the child is not going to be healthy. And maternal age factors also matter. And teenage pregnancy. In the rural area, teenage pregnancy is more, so the womb, the health of the womb will not be that very, fit and fine to deliver a baby. So these were the things we said we are going to take care of. And then, just to see what else we can say, we said that we are going to ensure that the record is available with the doctor. Counseling will be given to the doctor. We will connect the ASHA workers in the, whichever place we are looking at. The Anganawadi schools wherein the women actually go and take the supplements from. And we said we are going to ensure that everyone is connected here. So we thought the rural people as a whole, they're actually connected. It's not just there is a public health center and it's the end of it. So every home is connected to the ASHA workers, to an Anganawadi teacher and the public health center. So this where we said that our application will give an end-to-end connectivity on what happens. We also said that regular monitoring will be there, and the growth chart and the vaccination chart will be provided as an app. And that's where we said, smartphones will actually help them, because everyone has a smartphone these days. And anything, in case other than this, we didn't want to take a chance. We said, other than these parameters, in case while executing the project, if the doctors and experts say something that we have to consider for implementation, we will do so. So this was our response. And at the end of it, what is that we got? We got this sanctioned. So we were so thrilled that we got 47 lakhs there, and they said that you're recommended by the PAMC for funding. Very happy we were. And so we were trying to see how the problems faced by rural women could be actually taken care of. What is the solution? Our solution was more technology there. And how is it different from existing method? There was no one who would connect them. The Anganawadi teacher, we spoke to Anganawadi teachers. We really literally went and saw in a particular grama and a village on how I can connect the Anganawadi teachers, the ASHA workers, the public health center doctors. We understood their problem because the doctors posted just for 2 years. If he goes, then who will take care of what has happened? So we thought we should put a server there. So we gave a software solution for it, so that any new doctor comes, gets an update of what has happened in that particular village. So this was the method we had chosen. And this was a great learning for us, because so many people helped us through this writing. And then in 2017, July 6th, as you see there, we were like thrilled getting this particular project there. Okay, so this is my second success story, which is the of late last week one. Yeah, so we had applied for VGST on KFIS level 1, and this time we shifted to medical and life sciences, because anyway COVID was in air, and we were like, everyone is getting into a lot of psychological pressure. We don't know what's happening. Students are, it's very hard to be focused. At least when you are in front of us on a physical mode, we understand your body language. We try to see how we can correct you, give you that kind of education. Now in this online mode, don't know what kind of learning is happening. Very few learn, with that strong determination that things are going to be fine. But then majority of them, you take it light. It is a human nature that, when you become lazy, you're lazy for a long time. It's very hard to, give up that laziness and come out of your comfort zone there. So in this particular project, we saw a lot of learning, and we didn't write this proposal until we were prepared for it. So our preparedness was like this. What we did even before writing is we contacted Dr. Mahesh Jayachandra. He's a neurophysiologist. He's a doctor in St. John's Hospital. And we went and said that, we want to develop an app, because we computer science, we can't think beyond an app and website and things like that, right? And deep learning. We said we have a lot of deep learning techniques and we're going to do predict and all, and we went on with that. So he was very kind enough to see how this can actually help us and see, and how, we wanted to do something for school-going children. So we took the topic of dyslexia. Dyslexic is some of young children, even when we were small, we would have done it. We write 7 in reverse, 9 reverse, after some corrections from our teachers, parents at home, we write it straight. Yeah, so that's a dyslexic problem, and it was surveyed that we have 5% Indian population with this dyslexic problem, and this can be actually rectified in case we try to identify why this particular problem is happening. So that means to say that now I have to learn something on neuropsychology, right? So we don't know anything about it other than the deep learning part. So we started doing a course on, how EEG signals are captured. How do I do? What is this potential we give? What is that signals we give? And how do I understand? So with that work, we started with Dr. Mahesh Chandra. You see that whole team from BMS College, we had gone there, and he was kind enough to come back to our college. And medical electronics department from VMSC helped us out in, helping understanding the EEG parameters and the signal processing behind it. And this took us some time to see where is that exact area we can work on. When a doctor took the brain reading from that's me there, yeah, with all those electrodes on my head there. So my working memory is what you see here, and he was, surprised that the working memory was quite significantly better than rest of the other cases which he had. So when he did the survey, he understood that yoga had played a very important role in this working memory, and he said, "Why don't you all start off with, on how actually, anyway, the project proposal we had written." So I had told him about that, what had initially had happened. So he said, "You should do that, but then dyslexic is a very important topic, and then you can go ahead." My teammate, Dr. Indrama M, she had already, done a groundwork with the Asha Foundation, where the students had developed an assistive app for autism children in 2018. And she also had hands-on on visual function assessment, which she had done for a national healthcare group, Singapore. Madam has been very kind, very, very encouraging with all my, drama, which I do always. She's been always, upholding me to ensure that, I never give up and I continue my work. So we started there, and we started taking a lot of NPTEL courses on understanding neurophysiology. We also did course on MATLAB to understand EEG signal, ERP signals, and how do we actually get that stimulus and try to understand the signal. That's where we are. Okay. Now further, we need to see which equipment I can get, because I need children to wear this equipment, because I want to solve the dyslexic problem and come up with a customized solution for the problem they have encountered. So this took us some 8 months to work on, and formally we did all this on this, and then we wrote the proposal. So that proposal is what has taken its shape, and that's where it gave us a strength that yes, it can go on. Many people helped us telling whether our idea was correct, and we built a network where we had a neuropsychologist, we had somebody who can give us the equipment. We even found the vendor also. Yeah, and so that much groundwork we had done even without the proposal being sanctioned. Whether it gets or not was secondary for us. So we thought, at least if not, we will do, we'll make our students do this project, because it was very exciting, and students also, some of them came forward to help us out in learning and understanding of it. Okay, so that was my second success story, which would probably help you in understanding, that building a network, groundwork, and right now, the time is now to write. With that said, how do I go about? Yeah, I said, I said what I did, what had happened with my 2 previous cases. Yeah, all this requires what? When you write a proposal, what do you think I'll keep it, I'll probably put one diagram for you. Oops. Yeah. What do you think? How will we go about? Can you see that diagram and tell me what is that you require?
Determination and commitment.
Yeah, determination and commitment. With that diagram, can you tell practice is very important, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, practice is very important. What do you feel from the second diagram?
Liberation.
Yeah, but that person is feeling happy, no? Huh?
Yeah, happy.
He's feeling happy, no? So he's left everything.
Contentful. Yeah. Liberation, yeah.
Come again?
That's what, he's liberated, he's feeling happy.
He's liberated. No,
Yeah.
don't be attached to it.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
practice and detachment is the way you go about. You
Yeah.
do it, you write it. Yeah. Don't get attached to the proposal. You know, you feel very bad. When my first proposal got, dejected, I was like, oh my God, this is the end. I'm not going to write any more proposal. I was never like that. Yeah. Be detached. If results come, good. Otherwise, do at least as a final year project and you're done. Even students will feel happy about your groundwork and background work, right? So this tool learning, I would quote from Bhagavad Gita. This is chapter number 6, version number 35 from that. Okay. Let me say this. Let's see how much we understand of it. Asamshayam mahabaho mano durvigraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. Now, what does this verse mean? First, let's see what, Krishna had to tell Arjuna. So, he says, Arjuna, you are the son of Kunti. What you say is just correct. The mind is indeed very difficult to restrain, but by practice and detachment, it can be controlled. Now, why did I say this? Yeah, so let's see the deeper understanding. So when you see any book of Bhagavad Gita, you would get this. But let's see what is the understanding we gain from here. Krishna says there to Arjuna, you are a mighty warrior. Can you not defeat your mind? He says, I can't defeat. All front of me are all people who are elder to me. How do I defeat them? So he's like, don't defeat them. Just defeat your mind. Everything will be in place. But Krishna agrees that mind is difficult to control. All of us will have this, right? Anything, right? When I write a proposal, all of us wish to get it sanctioned. We all want to execute it, feel the pride of it. But then, of what I have understood from the 7 years of what have I been writing and doing, I think by now I would have written 17 proposals, yeah, out of which only 2 have been done, right? And the one which was done lately was the 13th one. There was some golden rule which I'll share at the conclusion though, but then you have to control your own mind there, yeah? So detachment doesn't mean that, you need to, the cultivation of disinterestedness towards unimportant things, whether it will, turn into a fruitful thing. Don't think about it. You've done a work, you're happy with it, that's good enough. It's the joy of doing it, right? I went and met Dr. Mahesh Jayachandran, and that itself was a joy to me. He was so kind. Who would spend so much of time trying to tell us that you do this, you do that? No one would do that. And what would he get out of it, right? I got a proposal. He didn't get anything there, right? So don't get attached to, something which is unimportant. Just keep your mind very joyful. Practice. It is that concreted and persistent effort, to change an old habit and develop a new one. So that's a practice. So what has happened? Why did you fail there? Yeah. So you develop something new. Make it as a habit, make it as a practice, and never give up there. Okay. And this all tells that the obstinate and the turbulent mind has to be made to rest. This distraction, what happens in your mind, can be made to rest only through abhyasa. Yeah, that's what is a very nice term in Kannada, which actually tells us that, abhyasa makes everything perfect. Yeah. So the learning, what is that learning we have from here? So can anyone tell me who this lady is there? Anyone? Don't tell me you people don't read newspaper. Huh? This has nothing to do with your research. Huh?
Ma'am, she won the Olympics, Meera,
Very good. Very nice. Which year? This year only?
this year. Ma'am.
So can you tell me her name? And for what she got, you know?
Weightlifting.
Very nice. Weightlifting. Her name, please.
Mirabai Chanu.
Very nice. So that's Mirabai Chanu there. Yeah. And you should read her story on how much she practiced to get that Olympics and how many awards she has got even just before she could go there to Tokyo and get that award. So bring the mind to rest on your goal. And that's what she did. You know, when she was at Tokyo trying to win that weightlifting, it's not that she wanted to win. It's just that she put her mind in rest and her goal was to do her best. Yeah. And you will never change your life until you change something you do daily. So regular habit is a result in character. And that's what she's been doing. And that was, of course, said by John C. Maxwell. Yeah, so she's Mirabai Chanu, and that's the thing, you know, which you should remember for somebody who has practiced and continuously done. Now for detachment, do you know these two small girls? They got the Bravery Award, of course, in 2020. The Abhimanyu Award they got. Anyone knows them? Small girl from a small village, but all girls, huh? I've been partial with girls today, okay? All girl story I'm telling you. Shall I tell you this? Anyone knows? At least for what they got Bravery Award, if you don't know their name, it's okay still. No one? Okay, no problem. This is Purnima Giri and Sabita Giri, and this is a small village of Nipania village in Kendrapara district. They got this Abhimanyu Award in 2020, and what they did is there was this river filled with crocodiles, and there was a boat which, you know, by mistake there were 12 people in the boat, and all of them fell into that river. And these two girls saw it, went and saved everyone. Were they attached to their life? They didn't even think about themselves, right? See the detachment they had, and that's where they helped and they got this award. So when we actually do our kind of learning or our kind of work, you know, practice and detachment actually helps in whatever we do. Okay, so that's it. Yeah. So just to conclude, then somebody conclude. What and all did we, you know, have a learning on? Keywords, just keywords. Then I will share you one last one, which is, you know, along with your conclusion. So when you write a research proposal, what should you do first?
Be a worker, manager, and a leader.
Very nice. Oh, people are starting from my slide too. Very nice. I'm so happy. Very nice. Next.
Look into the issues.
Look into the issues. Yeah. Be more society feelings you should have. You know, you should feel for people's pain. Okay. Yeah. Very nice. Next. Research. Yeah. Yeah. Your literature survey should be very, very strong.
And what would be the benefit to the society?
Yeah. Benefit to the society you should always think of. Very nice.
Be able to justify your research.
Yeah, justify your research. Yeah, justification of research is very important. Yeah, very good.
And there is when we have to write a research paper, it's now. You don't need to wait for it.
Yes, the right time to start is now. Yeah. Now to keep this, no, we have E is equal to MC square. Anyone knows that? What is this E is equal to MC square? Who gave us this equation?
Einstein.
Very nice. Yeah, it's the Einstein equation. All of us know,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, very nice. So I'll give you a different expansion of it. And the credit is given to Dr. G.R. Sinha, sir. Okay, I'll tell you who he is. Yeah, E for excellence. So if you want to be, you know, excel in whatever field you should have the motivation to do it. And twice the commitment. The more the commitment you have for any work you do and you're highly motivated, then definitely you will reach on whatever you have thought of. So this was one of the, you know, expansion given by Dr. G.R. Sinha. He is the professor in Myanmar Institute of Information Technology. He had come as a guest speaker at BMS College in 2017. And I was like thrilled by listening to him. And he said that, E is equal to MC square is very much required for be it a teacher, be it a student, be it anybody. Yeah. And you can apply to any field and never give up attitude. And when you write, keep writing, and definitely one of the proposal will definitely get clicked. And he was the one who said, if not the first one, the 13th one will definitely get clicked. And it has at least, manifested in my case. So that's where I said the 13th one will definitely click. So we saw what is practice, what is detachment, and you should have a never give up attitude. So whenever you write, it's not just in terms of writing, in terms of even the way you lead your life, the way you feel for others. Keep people with you, be, encourage every other colleague of yours, be it men, be it a woman, keep people together, and that attitude will always keep you happy and glowing. Okay, before I conclude, these are the following people. If I don't acknowledge them, it is of no use. So one is late Pratibha Ballal. She was my team member in my first project. She is one amazing person who actually helped me in, combining my idea and her idea, and we wrote the first proposal. My postdoc guide from IISc, he's also no more, late Akhilesh KB sir. He actually told me that, we teachers need to go beyond the, chalkboard writing. And he introduced me to our ancient system of learning, Bharatiya education system. So from him, I have learned on how traditional actually mechanisms of learning and systems are there, which we can actually apply for our courses. And he also always tell that I should write good proposals and, keep going. So I thank him for being always with me. Professor Indrama ma'am, I did my master's from BMSC, so I am quite associated with BMS also for a long time. She's been my professor, she's been my guide for my EPTech project too, and lovely person, and anything I could just go and talk to her, whether it is silly or good, whatever it is, she's always there to me to rectify me, which was my the main support for writing my second proposal, which has happened. Yeah, so I thank her for that. And of course my principal, he would say increment agudilla madam bariveku project. Yeah, but still his suggestions of how do I write, where do I apply, and he used to always say never give up, keep writing, yellow one kade agate, so very nice person there. So all these people have actually molded me to what I am today, and so I'm very thankful to them. And thank you all for patient listening to my story there. To conclude, Swami Vivekananda said, be the servant while leading. Be unselfish, have infinite patience, and success is yours. And I strongly believe in it, and I'm sure you all will also learn from this. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Does anyone have questions?
No, anyway, there can't be a question, of course, in this platform. It's probably, how you write, how do you take it forward, how do you build a network, that is what matters. So you should jot out your positive strength, your negative strength, and see how you can work on it. Work on it. Everybody has weakness. Everybody has strengths. So you should just believe that, that you're going to identify them and take the right people guidance. It's going to click. Never give up. That's it. Yeah, Gayatri.
So my question is, like when you said about the brainwave and all that, so what kind of level of knowledge which you should have in that particular domain to kind of think about the integration of these two, computer science and neurology?
Yeah. Thanks for asking that, Gayatri, because Indrama ma'am was strongly, taking, neural networks and deep learning, machine learning and all. So she had a lot more idea on how the brain is actually structured. even before we do any project, our understanding should be like how the neurons in our brain work. From there, we should go on. So we are doing a neuroscience course. All of us are doing, even my whole team is doing on NPTEL, trying to understand the brain. So you have to be very sensitive because you're doing a human intervention and you are trying to help somebody out. Now, I might understand something, but I may not come up with the right solution, for which we have a neurophysiologist. Dr. Mahesh Jayachandra sir is on team. We have a child psychologist on our team from Ramaya Hospital. So we have connected some doctors through doctors, network itself. It is not our network. And we have a doctor from NIMHANS also. So all these people are going to test and tell us what we are doing is correct or wrong. Even this correction process, telling that what we are going to execute is correct or not, we have a whole lot of meeting, end-to-end, back-to-back, no personal space. But then we are really working hard on weekday, weekends, every day, day in and out, we are putting to ensure that what we are doing is correct and it's going to help. So that's where, we need to have a end-to-end understanding for sure. We may not be a specialist, but that understanding is required. So we have to do our groundwork. It's going to be like, I'm going to be a student now. For the next 2 years, I'm a student.
It's a continuous process.
Yes, definite.
That was really wonderful session. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. If that's it,
So-
I think we can. Yeah, Nandini.
The interest can be from any field, is it? We need not be architects only to looking at only buildings or some creativity. We can look at any field in the society for problem and start writing research and be prepared for it, is it?
Nandita, just a small change on that. Your field expertise should be applied to the other one. For example, the brain signal processing which we got, we are expertised in deep learning techniques, machine learning. And that's what they wanted at the end of it for prediction. So you need something of yours to be a complement to the other one. Then you can apply.
Okay.
That makes more sense because that will give you the joy. Imagine, how will I become a neurophysiologist at this age of 42? I mean, it's not going to happen, right? Yeah. So you should see what is that your expertise is going to complement somewhere. And you need to know that area for sure because you're going to do a project, so it cannot be something. But understanding is very, very important. My doctor has given 100 papers on dyslexia and has given me a deadline like next Saturday to present on 2 papers. So that's how the team is. So the team will make you to understand things better.
Okay.
Yeah. So you should complement on what you're doing. Otherwise, it's not going to work out.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Kavita. This is Bindu Malhotra. Am I audible? Dr. Kavita, am I audible?
Yeah, your voice is very, low and fading.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Okay. I can manage. Tell me if the.
Know from the student's perspective.
Yeah.
Suppose after writing a research proposal,
Yeah.
they are ready. So maybe they get guidance from their teachers, professors. But what is the next stage they should go for? Which are the forums, which are the platforms where they should present their research proposal?
Yeah, good question. What we have done in BMSC, I will share, and probably that will help you. We have something called as, ICRD, Institution Center for Research and Development. And we conduct a symposium wherein students can share their idea. And if that idea is good, the management itself funds it. For example, one of my small project, which I got it from management fund, was in 2018, parallel, which happened. I got 16,500, small amount, but good enough. Yeah, we presented our idea and that idea got sanctioned wherein we got money for the equipment. Otherwise, how will students fund themselves? So you need funding for sure. So you should see how you can generate this fund. If not from the college, then you have no choice, like write the proposal like what we did and then give the project to students. You have to do the other way around. Yeah, otherwise some hackathon, they have to try only with these means. Otherwise, there is no other means they can try.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think these were all on the previous. I was not seeing the message. Now I'm seeing the message. Yeah, I think Yuvraj and Vinay said based on the previous slides there, the content. Yeah. Yeah, Gayatri, that's it?
Yeah. Soumya?
Yeah, so I guess it's the end of the session, and I hope every question is answered. Now, presenting the vote of thanks. Before the session actually started, with the idea that research and experimentation is the key to start an innovative idea. And now we are actually in the position to be able to do it. And hope this session has brought good amount of motivation and knowledge to all of us. With that said, and I, on behalf of everyone, thank our wonderful speaker, Dr. Kavita Sudha, for very systematically laying the framework on the topic. It was a very interesting session, ma'am. Thank you for accepting our invitation and doing this for us.
Yeah. Thank you, Soumya. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Further, I thank our institute, the management director and founder principal Rekha ma'am for her constant encouragement and leadership in taking all the IIC initiatives forward. Thank you so much, ma'am. Deep gratitude to Dr. Gayatri ma'am, HOD and IIC technical coordinator for her active support in organizing and making this possible. Also, I thank IIC student coordinators who have been involved in promoting the event. I thank all the supporting faculty and staff for their technical support. Rakesh sir, Vinay sir, Revant and Kumar sir, they've been involved in the whole process of making this happen. Lastly, very important, I acknowledge all the faculty and our wonderful students for encouraging and engaging with us. I guess now you all will enjoy the process of writing a research as much as attending the session. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll leave the meeting. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.